Hi everyone! It's time for another one of those magnificent and marvelous math lessons with Miss Antonia Bain. Let's get started. Our topic for today's lesson is adding decimals with word problems. Let's look at our lesson objectives. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to add decimals with numbers up to the thousands place and solve word problems adding decimals. Let's do a quick review. In our last lesson, we learned how to add two addends to come to our sum. When we have an equation like this, the first thing we must do is, that's correct, line up our addends by the decimal point. Once we've done that, we can now add. 0 plus 2 is 2. I place that 2 in the thousands place. 7 plus 5 is 12. I place my 2 in the hundreds place and my 1 in the tenths place. 7 plus 4 plus 1 is again 12. I put my 2 in the tenths place and I carry my 1 to the units place. 7 plus 3 plus 1 is 11. I put my 1 in the units place and I carry my 1 to the tens place. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6. Don't forget my decimal point. That gives me the sum of 61 and 222 thousandths. Now, let's apply those skills to addition word problems. First, we must be able to identify those addition keywords. What are some of those keywords? Let's look at a few. Altogether, in all, increase, total, combined, plus, and sum. Now these aren't the only ones. This is just a few. But let's take this now and apply it to our word problem. Looks interesting, doesn't it? We're going to use the UPSC method to solve this problem. Understand, plan, solve, and check. That's right, boys and girls. Let's look at understand. When we understand, we read the problem, identify the question, and circle what we know. Let's begin by reading the problem. A tiger shark swam 145 and 7/10 of a mile on Monday and 89 and 99 hundredths of a mile on Tuesday. What is the combined distance traveled in both days? Well, once we've read the problem, next we must underline the question. Where's the question? Do you see it? Yes, that's correct. What is the combined distance traveled in both days? Now, we need to circle what we know. We know that the tiger shark swam 145 and 7/10 of a mile on Monday and 89 and 99 hundredths of a mile on Tuesday. Now that we know that, we have to, you guessed it, plan. When we plan, we try to figure out what strategy it is that we're going to use to solve this problem. In our problem, there is a key word that helps us to identify what we need to do. Do you see it? I do. Yes, that word is the word combined. Combined tells us that we have to add. Once we plan, now it's time to solve. When we solve, we set up our problem. Remember, when we're dealing with decimals, to line up our numbers by the decimal point. Now we can begin to add. 9 plus 0 is 9. I place that in the hundredths place. 9 plus 7 is 16. I put 6 in the tenths place and and I place my 1 in the units place. 9 plus 5 plus 1 is 15. I put my 5 in the units place and I place my 1 in the tens place. 8 plus 4 plus 1 is 13. Put my 3 in the tens place and I place my 1 in the hundreds place. 1 plus 1 is 2. That's right. Don't forget our decimal point. That gives us a total of 235 and 69 hundredths. Now, we're not done yet. We need to check. That's correct. To check, we must do the opposite of addition, which is, you guessed it, subtraction. Let's set up our problem. Take our answer and subtract it from one of our numbers. We'll use 89 and 99 hundredths. Let's subtract now. 9 from 9 leaves 0. Look at that. We can't take 9 from 6. So we go to the 5 and we rename that to a 4. And our 6 now becomes 16. Now we can take 9 from 16. And we know that that is 7. Now we're back at it again. Can we take 9 from 4? No, we can't. So we go to the 3, rename that to a 2. That's correct. And our 4 becomes a 14. We can take 9 from 14, right? Yes, that's 5. Good. Look at our situation again. We can't take 8 from 2, so that means we go to our 2, we rename that to a 1, and our next 2 becomes now a 12. We can take 8 from 12. That gives us 4. And 0 from 1 gives us 1. Don't forget our decimal point. Our answer is now 145 and 70 hundredths. See, it brings us right back to our other add-in. That means that we were correct and the tiger shark traveled 235 and 69 hundredths of a mile in 2 days. Let's look at another example. This one looks exciting. Again, we're going to use the understand, plan, solve and check method. Let's begin by understanding the problem. When we understand, we read the problem, identify the question, and circle what we know. Let's begin by reading the problem. A fish weighs 1 7/100 pounds, an octopus weighs 9 pounds, and a crawfish weighs 3 5/10 pounds. What is the total weight of the seafood? Now that we've read the problem, let's identify the question. Do you see it? I know I do. Yes, that's correct. What is the total weight of the seafood is our question. Now, let's circle what we know. We know that the fish weighs 1 7/100 pounds. We know that the octopus weighs 9 pounds. And we know that the crawfish weighs 3 5/10 pounds. Now that we know that, it's time for us to plan. Figure out a strategy that will best help us to solve this problem. In our problem, there is a key word. Do you see it? Yes, that's the word total. And total tells us that we must add. Very good, boys and girls. Now, it's time to solve. When we solve, we set up our problem. Line it up by the decimal points. Very good. Now, we can begin to add. 0 plus 7 plus 0 gives us 7. 5 plus 0 plus 0 gives us 5. And 9 plus 1 plus 3 gives us 13. Don't forget our decimal point. Very good. So our answer is 13 57 hundredths of a pound. We're not finished yet though. We need to check. In order to check, we must do the opposite of addition, which is subtraction. And we set up our problem. We take our answer, 13 57 hundredths, and we subtract it from another number. I know you notice we have 10 7 hundredths. Well, if we took 9 and 1 7 hundredths, we would have gotten 10 7 hundredths. So now when I subtract, if I get back to 3 50 hundredths, then I know that my answer is correct. So let's subtract now. 7 from 7 is 0. 0 from 5 is 5. 0 from 3 is 3. And 1 from 1 is 0. Don't forget my decimal point. Good job! That means that I was correct, and the total weight of the seafood was 13 57 hundredths of a pound. Awesome! Try this one on your own. I'll read it for you. A shrimp is 2 4/10 inches in length. A group of fish is 24 inches in length. And a clam is 0 35 thousandths inches in length. What is the sum of the lengths of the marine animals? Take your time. Remember all of the steps that we talked about. Pause the video, solve the problem, and when you are done, press play and we'll go over the answer. If you're finished, it's time for us to review the answer. We're going to use the understand, plan, solve, and check method. Let's understand the problem. We've already read it, so let's now identify the question. The question in this problem is, what is the sum of the lengths of the marine animals? Good job. Now that we know that, let's circle what we know, the important information. We know that the shrimp's length is 2 4/10 inches. We know that the grouper's length is 24 inches and the clam's length is 35 thousandths of an inch. Now it's time for us to plan. What word helps us to solve this problem? The key word in this problem is the word sum. Sum tells us that we have to add. Very good, boys and girls. Now, time for us to solve. When we solve, first we need to set up our problem. Line it up by the decimal points. Once we've done that, we now can add. 5 plus 0 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 0 plus 0 is 3. 0 plus 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 plus 2 plus 4 is 6. And we bring down our 2. Let's not forget our decimal point. Good. Our sum is 26 435 thousandths. But we're not finished yet. We have to check. When we check, we take our answer and subtract it from something else. Let's subtract it from 24. We should get back to the answer 2 435 thousandths if we were correct. How do we know that? Because 2 4/10 plus 35 thousandths is equal to 2 435 thousandths. So if we make it back there, then our initial answer is correct. Let's begin subtracting. 0 from 5 is 5. 0 from 3 is 3. 0 from 4 is 4. 4 from 6 is 2. And 2 from 2 is 0. Let's not forget our decimal point. Good job, boys and girls. We were correct. So the sum of the marine animals is 26 435 thousandths. You did a super job, boys and girls. Super job. Let's do a quick review. In today's lesson, we learned that there are numerous keywords that indicate that we must add. Some, altogether and combined, are just a few. We also learned that when we do word problems, we can use the UPSC method. That means we understand, we plan, we solve, and we check. Good job! This lesson was created by Miss Antonia Bain.